If organisations are going to drive greater innovation, I think a number of things are needed. The first of those things is the discipline side of it, which is, I think, actually ensuring that people have are taught well-developed techniques for problem solving that are very analytic, that help people to break down problems so that they can both break a problem down to find out where the real questions are that they want to answer, that they can engage in the incremental kind of solving of problems that I think is a very important part of innovation, because innovation is a lot more than just the big ahas. I think it's a constant daily process of solving problems with new solutions, and that requires some real analytic skill. So I think teaching people formally how to do that is important. It's what consulting firms do with their people, and people pay to have those kind of environments come in. That's an internal capability. It needs to be built in organisations, it needs to be built in governments. But then there's also the ability to help nurture sources of new ideas. So that, I think, is about giving people new kinds of knowledge and new kinds of experiences. Innovative organisations, I think, are ones that periodically move people into quite new environments so that they've taken knowledge from one very different area into another. That's often what creates a freshness. I think it's about encouraging people to actually have acquired very different ranges of knowledge. Quite why people always hire people who've got commerce backgrounds to run businesses seems to me a little strange. I think you want to be hiring people who've got a whole range of kind of ways of thinking. Historians, engineers, poets, people with a kind of proper understanding of literature and narrative. In particular economies like ours, which are about creating value, it's these kind of abilities to think with analogies and think with metaphors and think with the ability to bring new context in that's important. So how you hire people, where you're hiring them from, what you're encouraging them to do in the organisation, I think matters a lot, and what you encourage them to do to keep nurturing their own sources of renewal and creativity, actually making sure that that's part of what you're actively supporting, whether it's by giving them, people should have in large organisations, whether it's having sabbatical breaks or giving people the time to do to develop kind of fresh, kind of new areas of their interests. Those are the things that will ultimately be the sources of creativity and innovation. And then the other thing is, I think organisations have to go and live inside other worlds. So organisations that structurally make sure they step out of themselves and look back in, whether it's by being customers to themselves, senior people actually doing these are well-known practices, but infrequently pursued. So that ability to step out, to look back, to look inside, from inside what it might look like to a competitor, to a customer, to a supplier, I think is another vital source of fresh angles and perspectives that nurture it. And then internally, there's a management culture. If you're going to have innovation, you can't be killing ideas. So you have to internally manage so that you allow the flourishing of a whole range of ideas and be skillful at working out how you pull some through, but equally how when the time comes, you cut them off. And that's a hard ecology to maintain and develop, one where you've got a constant flow of both new things coming through and things that aren't flourishing being cut off. But that's the kind of ecology that I think innovative places set out to create.